Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to Daily News Analysis by Tathastu ICS. I am Manisha Armugam here to discuss the Hindu newspaper for the day 3rd December 2026. Okay, sorry for the technical glitch. We will go to the session. You will get this PDF in the description box, as well as you can scan this QR code to join a Telegram group for the regular updates. Okay, let's go into the session. So these are the news for the day that is important. First is US as Iran protest turned deadly. So the Iran is facing a protest by its civilians. The intervention by the the intervention by the US is a kind of a disruptor for Iran. So Iran is also have given its reply to US. We will see what it is. Why it is important for us, why we are reading about it, it is because somewhere or the other it is connected with India as well. I'll tell you how. So it is important for our GS2 paper in the IR perspective. Okay. Moving on. The next is Center directs X, that is Twitter, to check grok misuse in morphing images. So the Ministry of Electronics and the Information Technology have directed gave a report for 4 pages. Okay, it have directed Twitter to check on its AI support, okay, because of the misuses against the women. We will see what it is. Okay, it is important for us GS1 in the society section, because it is mostly the morphing and everything is based on women only. So we will be considering women, we will be focusing it on GS1 paper in society, apart from the GS2 paper for the rules and the guidelines, excuse me, and the GS4 paper also for the ethical behavior and the values. Okay. The next is Assam tribal body rejects minister's proposal to grant ST status to 6 OBC communities. So in Assam, the group of ministers have given a suggestion and the recommendations to make 6 OBC communities into scheduled tribes. Okay, we will see what it is and why there is opposition, what are all the mismatch with the criteria, we will see in that. So it is important for our GS2 paper and also GS4 paper. Okay. Okay. The next is growth generating capital expenditure can affect fiscal targets. As we all know, the fiscal targets, capital expenditure, all these belongs to economy. These are all economical terms. So it is important for our GS3 paper and also GS2 paper for the governance implications. Okay. Next, they are transforming a waste ridden urban India and the recasting sanitation with urban rural partnerships. These two articles are important for the current trends, because the nature related, the environment related causes are coming in the recent days. Okay. So that is why it is important for our GS3 paper. We will see how it is working. And what is the sanitation, we know the Swachh Bharat mission is also there. So regarding that we will be focusing on GS2 paper as well. Okay. Moving on. The first one, US locked and loaded as Iran protests turn deadly. In Iran, in the current days, they are facing the protest. It is not the first time for the Iran to face it. Then and there it will be there. Okay. Recently in 2022 also Iran faced protest, and it is not surprising for us to see US is being intervened in other countries' matters. Okay. Basically it is an internal matter of Iran. There is no take for the US in this matter, but still US is bringing with the human rights card. Ma'am, will this DNA classes help me in UPSC exam? Sorry, UPPCS. Obviously, current affairs is everywhere in the state exams, no? So it will helpful. You can go through it. Okay. So the Iran's internal matters, but US is intervening with the term of human rights. Okay, because there is a casualties. Keep in mind, none of the UPSC papers have been asked about casualties, data and everything, but keep in mind casualties are there. Quoting that, US is telling if Iran government is not treating its civilians properly, if there is any firing or casualties against this protest, we will intervene and we will be taking military military help for the civilians. Basically, US will come and they will do all these military things, okay, in the name of human rights, okay. So that is what the concern. The Iran have told them clearly, why this is our internal matters, there is no rights for you to come inside, okay. Already you are violating the UN Charter Article 2, because you cannot intervene in some others internal matters, okay. So it is against UN Charter. He have told that, and Iran have also quoted that we are theocratic nature state, okay. The ultimate decision by our supreme leader will be the ultimacy, okay. And the other thing is like the other thing is like the major reason for the protest is also internal matter only, the currency matters. So there is no take for US to come and intervene in our matters. Better you keep outside, or else we will also revert back whatever if you are doing, okay. So this is kind of a threat to US. So this is making, and also Iran have told there will be a instability in the West Asia if US is being intervened, okay. So it is not about one country only, it is about the whole strategical part of West Asia. If you are intervening, then it will disturb our peace, okay. So they have told us. Now we will see what is the actual reason for the protest and what can be done, okay. The actual protest is based on the financial distress. Actually in Iran, the financial distress is because of the high inflation, okay. There is a US action also behind that, because US have recently withdrawn from Iran's nuclear program, okay. So it actually a program with usage of these pictures will create a very big issue, because deep fakes in the case of Rashmika Mandana, there is a lot of cases like that, right. So deep fakes, all these obscene content, all these will be a major issue in the privacy as well as for the dignity. So that is why it is a major issue. Our government have given X, by please create a guideline, this not should be done. Here one more point, as a GS4 paper, ethical values, as a citizens we also should have some responsibilities, how we use the AI, okay, and for what reason we are using the AI. Everybody has a woman in their life, right? It could be a mother or anybody else, but keeping in that mind, we should use not only AI, whatever the thing is, you should think about others' perspective as well, okay. So there is a citizen's responsibility also to use any of the thing in an ethical manner. So here in the fundamental duties, in future it might be adding these things also, let's see, okay. Till now it is clear. If there is any doubt till here, please let me know, or else we will go forward, okay. I think it is clear, okay. Next, Assam tribal body rejects minister's proposal to grant ST status to 6 OBC communities, okay. In recent times, the Coordination Committee of Tribal Organizations of Assam rejected the recommendation of group of ministers to grant scheduled tribe status to 6 OBC classes, okay. Okay, so what is happening right now? So this committee is being formed by 14 tribes, okay, 14 tribes of Assam. They are existing committees, okay. So they are telling like the other categories, the 6 OBC communities that have been mentioned by these ministers, that is not actually facing the criteria, it is not getting the criteria that has been mentioned. That is what the problem is, and major problem is in the reservation part, okay. I will tell you how it is. So those 6 communities that have been recommended by the ministers, they will be categorized into 3. One is ST from plain, ST from hill, and also ST valleys, okay. So these 3 have been bifurcated, okay. Apart from that, the major thing is they are not facing the criteria. There is, they have given this list of these tribes as well. Okay, you have to make note of it, otherwise it will be little difficult because UPSC will play in these names also. So keep that in mind. Okay. Okay. Here the scheduled castes are identified based on their status in Hindu caste system. If it is scheduled caste, it will be based on Hindu system. If it is scheduled tribes, there is certain kind of criteria to be focused by local committee report of 1965. This have given a recommendation. These are could be a criteria for declaring a community as a scheduled tribe. There should be primitive traits should be there. There should be a distinct culture for them, and apart from that, there should be they should be geographically isolated and backwarded. There should be a distance between the other people and them, that is a shyness of contact. So these are the criteria that will be taken into the consideration before converting a community into a scheduled tribe. Okay. So generally scheduled tribe, who will be recognizing a community as a scheduled tribe? The procedure is with the, according to article 342, the president with the consultation of governor of that particular state, they both with the consultation, they will be recognizing a community as a scheduled tribe community. But here the ministers have proposed, which is majorly not sticking to the criteria, and other problems are, there is a reservation problem also. In Assam already it has been 59%. Okay, here it is mentioned, it is already 59%. The bifurcation is SC is 7%, STP is 10%, plain, hill, okay, and OBC is including T tribes are 3% and Adivasis are 27% and EWS is 10%. So in comprising, it is already 59%, which is more than the prescribed value, that is 50% it should be the cap limit. It is already more than the 50%, but now if they given these states to these communities the ST state, then it will become around 70% in the reservation, where actually the ST people, actual ST people who are backwarded, socially and economically backwarded, they will not get the job reservations. They might miss the job reservations and the education reservations. Okay, that is why it is a major concern here. So in crux, government have given, the ministers have given recommendation for 6 OBC communities. Okay, but the coordination committee of tribal associations of Assam have rejected it because two major reasons. One is they are not facing the criteria, and the second thing is there is a problem for reservations. In crux, it is it. Okay, moving on. Let's move on to the next article, the unbelievable choice. This is okay, growth generating capital expenditure can affect fiscal targets. So growth generating capital expenditure, what is the growth generating capital expenditure? Basically infrastructures, or it can be any other plans or any other infrastructure developments. Okay, that is your capital expenditure. How it affects fiscal targets? Let's see. Okay, first why this article in the news? In the recent GST collection data, it have told that 1.74 lakh have been withdrawn as a revenue. Okay, but in November 2025, actual it is like around 13 lakh crore as a revenue. Okay, so there is a differences between November and December datas. When we see why it is, because in 2025 budget, the union government have given a relaxation for the GST. Okay, along with that, they have exempted the people under exempted the people under the income of 12 lakhs per annum. So earlier it was 7 lakh and now it is 12 lakh. So this relaxation for the people have created less tax revenue. Tax revenue is nothing but by imposing a tax, you are getting the revenues, right? So that is tax revenue. So because of these tax relaxations, we are getting very less tax revenues. Okay, so the less tax revenues, where it is, what it created is, people actually the government plan is to make the reduced tax will be come into the consumption, and it will gain the inflation rate. But the problem is people are not spending the money. Okay, instead what they are doing, they are saving, and also what they are doing is they are paying off their debts. Okay, so there is no play in the market for the currency. Okay, so that is why there is an issue with this low tax revenue. Now it is highly important for us to focus on the capital expenditure as well, building roads, laying roads, bridges, dams, and also other capital expenditures have to be done, so that the growth will be more even. Okay, but because of this low tax revenue, we are not able to focusing on the capital expenditure. That is resulting in the fiscal deficit. Now the government have been given a choice between two. One is capital expenditure or else the fiscal deficit. If you are not getting the income, then how you will spend for the expenditure? So they keep on your expending, and you are not getting the revenues, you are not getting any income. So here you are facing a difficulty in the fiscal things. So that is why it is a choice for the government right now, either stabilize your fiscal deficit or else focus on your capital expenditure. If we keep on focusing on the capital expenditure, at one point of time we will be run out of money, and we will be going for the borrowing loans from other countries. There might be a debt crisis as well, and we will be losing our currency value as well. So these are a long term problems, but this is why it is very important right now. Okay, so because of low inflation, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. So the low inflation affected the nominal GDP. How it has actually affected the nominal GDP? The low inflation, because of the savings, there is no money is being spending in the market. So there is a lot of money, but the value of money has been the same. Okay, so there is a less expenditure, so that's why it is a low inflation. That is affecting the nominal GDP. GDP is whenever a product is being created, or whenever a product is manufactured within the India, we will be considering it as GDP. Okay, so when there is no spending, there will be no manufacturing. When there is no manufacturing, it will affect our GDP. Okay, okay. I guess till now it is very clear for you, or else we will move. Okay, okay. Moving on. So in here I have mentioned income tax regime in budget 2025 exempted 12 lakh a year from income tax, and also GST cuts also have been a relaxation mode for them. Okay. Next, the recent data on the government's accounts reflect this. Tax revenue stood 13.9 lakh crore at the end of November. Now actually it is in the December, it is 1.74 lakh crore. So see the difference, how huge it is and how important it is. Okay. So the capital expenditure have been increased to 28%. Okay. Excuse me. So the capital expenditures keep on increasing, but the people spending is not there, so the government is not getting the money. This is the crux of this. So the challenges is between now, if the government is focusing on the physical deficit to balance it, then the growth of the country will be slowed down. The bridges, the infrastructure, all other plans will be slowed down for some time. So that will also disadvantage for us. Okay. So keeping in that mind, now it is a challenging time for government to look into it. Slowly, gradually we will solve it. For that we have to do one thing, more spendings. Okay, investing in government bonds. Okay, all these will help us. Okay, next, coming to the article. Okay, transforming a waste ridden urban India. The alarming threat here is the India's urbans are keep on growing. So there is a problem of immigrations also from the rurals. Okay, so rural people also migrating towards urban. So there causes a huge waste management risks. Okay, so the waste, the dry waste, wet waste, that is not been actually properly managed. Here we will see in the recent COP30 that has been held in Brazil, there they have mentioned that the waste management is also a concern of climate conditions. Okay, I'll tell. No organic waste, that is now, okay, to cut methane emissions, circulatory as a way of inclusive growth. Okay, so coming to the connections, so how the waste management will be helpful in the climate conditions, we will see, because the more of the emissions that is basically of the methane. Methane gas produces a lot of heat actually. Okay, so this is increasing the increasing greenhouse gases will affect in your global warming. There will be high temperature, there will be lot of chaos in the temperature. Okay, that is why it is connected to the climate condition. Okay, so called upon cities accelerated circulatory initiatives where waste is recognized as a resource, okay, not as a garbage. So here comes our reuse values, so that the waste, out of waste, how we can generate the income or how we can reduce them, all this comes here. Okay. Okay. Here India's mission lifestyle and for environment espoused by Indian Act COP26 in Glasgow 2021, calling for deliberate utilization instead of mindless destructive consumption. So here we are emphasizing on the deliberative utilization instead of mindless and destructive consumption. Okay, so what we are going to do is, instead of neglecting the waste, we are going to reuse it, or else we are going to use those waste, or we are going to make the management for those waste so that it will not affect our environment. Okay, expanding cities and towns are irreversible relative in growing India. As I have told you, the growing urban areas are facing problem with this waste management. The outskirts of urban cities, you can see there will be pile and pile of the mountains and hills of waste. There it is not processed. For processing that also we need lot of energy, you know. So we have to see the alternative, so that the combustion of these waste will again produce any of the greenhouse gases that will affecting our environment. Instead we are going to take a smart move here, so that we will be having a good environment. Okay, one of the most successful initiatives, Swachh Bharat mission. Initially it is focusing on the open taking of the open vacation, but now it is moving ahead. Okay, so the collection of the waste will be from the home through this Swachh Bharat mission that we are achieving. The problem here is the waste that has been collected, but it has not been processed. The problem it is creating there. So that is the major issue for the day. The Okay, the goal of garbage free cities by 2026 is an residential necessity, not a matter of existential necessity, not a matter of aesthetics. So keeping an environment clean is not more an aesthetics. Here it is actually about alarming threat right now. Okay, it is need for the time. Okay. Okay, so under Swachh Bharat mission Urban 2.0, about 1100 cities and towns have been rated free of dump sites, if not exactly free of garbage. Okay, there is nothing to explain here. We will move. Okay, the waste management is very crucial, as we have mentioned, for climate action because of the increased methane, we have to reduce it. Okay, we have to reduce it. That is what it has been written. Growing intensities is equal to huge waste. It may be e-waste, solid waste, whatever the waste type is, but we have to focus on the amount of waste that has been always circulated. Circular economy, it is waste into resource, that is also we have seen. Okay, waste segregation, here comes a major problem. Okay, we will manage the waste, but the problem is there are two type of waste, one is wet and dry, right? As a citizens, we are supposed to segregate those waste at our home, but are we doing it? Not really. So if one home is not able to do it, then think about the multiple cities and towns. Everywhere it will be a dumps of waste that is not segregated, that is making the government and the environment more crucial about management. Okay, let's see. Okay, other than that, government missions, these are most important missions regarding this article is Swachh Bharat and Amrut. So Amrut is basically Swachh Bharat and Amrut is basically on the resources management in the urban area. Okay? Keep that in mind. The challenges here, as I have already told you, the segregation is a problem. The funds for the management is a problem again. The low citizen participation. So as I have told you, as a single individual, we have to take care of the waste segregation so that the dry waste will be given for the recycle and the wet waste will be given for the other gases production, so that we will be getting energy as well. Okay, the other sources of energy. So that is what it is needed, but we are not doing it. Another one, the demolition waste. We have seen so many waste for like the waste like e-waste and everything. The one of the major reason, as the another news also in the today's in the newspaper have told that the demolition ban and the construction ban, demolition ban, and also the vehicles tribe have been reduced the air pollution, right? So the construction and the demolition waste are of two types. One is it will be affecting our air and also it is a most of landfills. Okay, so we can use those materials from the demolition. We can create a new construction out of those steel and the proper bricks. We can make use of it, but we are not doing it. Another one is the water waste management, the contaminated water problem, and the proper retreatment of the water that has been discharged from many of the industries and also many of the companies that has been emitted. We are not retreating, we are just giving in the we are just letting to go into the river. So there we have to keep a check. Okay, so there should be a check in certain areas where the collection of waste also. I still remember in 2011 when I was in school, it is used to be like the government have issued 2 different dustbins to every household, like you have to put dry waste and wet waste. But eventually that have been also, that is not in practice. For initial days it was in practice, but later on it have been moved on, right? So we have to keep this in mind. By one single individual's efforts and participation, the whole nation, the whole global can be a better place for the living, not only for us, for all other species as well, so that we will not be losing any of our biodiversity loss will not be there. Okay, so that is what the concern. So water management is also needed so that the health of the public will be maintained along with the air pollution and also along with the water stagnation. If we eradicate all these things, the health and the growth of the India and any other nation, that cannot be stopped. Okay, in crux, the water management, the waste management should be kept in the mind. Okay. Okay, moving on, the recasting sanitation with urban rural participation. Okay, again it is basically of Swachh Bharat mission only. So the Swachh Bharat mission 2 have been achieved a good responses. That is, the first one was to build toilets, right? So now the 2.1 will 2.0 will be focusing on how to segregate, how to use those waste and how to manage those waste, that will be creating a huge impact in the economy or in the environment. Okay? So, we will see. When the Swachh Bharat mission, Clean India mission was launched in 2014, its vision was both simple and transformative to ensure that every household in India has access to toilet. This is a basic one. Okay? And another is a clean and safe environment. Okay? That is what. In just a decade, this vision has become reality. More than 12 crore household toilets have been built in rural India, and every village has declared itself open defecation free. So, now in our rural areas there are n number of toilets. Okay? So, there is no open defecation in the rural areas. We have achieved a good thing here. But again, this helps in improved public health, reduced indignities faced by women and vulnerable groups, because basically this is kind of a dignity also somewhere included. Okay? Okay. And marked a turning point in India's development. Okay. Now, the major thing. 2025, more than 5.68 lakh villages, nearly 97% of India's total have been declared ODF plus, but facial sludge management remains one of the most critical gaps in the sanitation. So, the whole article is about this. Okay. So, the facial sludge management is nothing but the solid waste of the humans will be retreated. Okay, it will be breakdown, the intoxicants will be removed, okay, and the rest will be used as a biofertilizers or energy producers. Okay, all these will be used. So, in this article it have been told that the sludge treatment will be of in two different phases with the relationship of urban and rural partnership. How? So, the cities in the outskirts of the urbans, which is the rural areas that is close to the urban cities, they will be having a direct and a regulated sludge treatment. Okay. So, based on the Swachh Bharat mission, the toilets we have built, based on that we will be collecting those waste, and the areas, the urbans that is near to the those rural areas, they will be treating that sludge treatment. Okay. And the other method is for the rural areas that are little far from the urban areas, what they will do, for over 5 years they will be collecting all those waste and they will be sent to the sludge treatment once in the 5 years. So, this is how we are going to work with the urban and the rural partnerships. Okay. Let us quickly have a read about it. Experimenting with innovative approaches to address this gap. State has invested in more than 200 facial sludge treatment plants in urban areas and encouraged to co-treatment in 41 sewage treatment plants. Here you have to keep an eye, because the waste management is on the state list. Okay. So, this is actually have to be implemented by the state. They can ask the help from the center, and the state will be taking care of the sludge treatment. So, here again the problem is fund. Okay. So, in Satara district, Maharashtra, such a partnership was put into practice. Satara city's facial sludge treatment plant with a capacity of 65 kiloliters a day was operating. So, more the migration and more the waste that has been produced, that will be resulting in the more chaos. So, we have to maintain the management of the waste. Okay. So, desludged or emptied only at exorbitant rates for informal operators will be serviced at regular intervals and in a safe way. A private sector provider is to be engaged by the Gram Panchayats under a contract to provide scheduled desludging services every 5 years. As I have mentioned, for every 5 years the rural areas that is far from urban, the desludging treatment will be done, and there is a sanitation tax also. So, for the constraint of the funds, there is a tax being levied, so that through this tax we will be focusing on the funds that has been provided to the desludging process. Okay. Okay. And another state, why I am mentioning all these places, Satara district, and because UPSC will be asking questions based on these districts. So keep that in mind. Okay, has been selected for the development of a cluster level facial sludge treatment plant under the Swachh Bharat mission designed to serve around 80 surrounding villages. So the other method is cluster. So if one area is not able to focus on the waste management, so it will be made it in the cluster management. Okay. So these are the news articles that has been important for the day. We are done with it. I hope today's session has been helpful and clear for you. If there is any doubts, please drop it in the comments. We will clear it. Okay. Apart from that, I want to end the session, conclude the session with one saying, that is again from the Thirukural. Okay. Karka kasadara katravai katrapin nirka adarku taha. Katka kasadara katravai katrapin nirka adarku taha. It means whatever you have learned, okay, that the volume, the quality of the things that you have learnt is not important. Apart from that, you have to be focusing on standing by what you learnt. Okay, so if you have learnt some values, if you have learnt something, you have to stand by that. So today's today's two articles that told us about the waste management, that is concerning about the environment. So we got to know there is a citizen participation as well, right? So what we have to do is, like, you have to focus on your citizen partisanship, and your duty also you have to keep that. So whatever you have learned about segregating the waste, if possible, try to inculcate in your life, and all the very best. Thank you so much.